Hi everyone, this is Tessa Brown and this is my student presentation on image sizing and compression. So the way that image sizing works is that the larger your images are, the slower your web page loads because they're such high quality files and they take up so much space that they usually will bog down your website. So I'm sure that we've all had that experience where we are going to a website and everything has pretty much loaded, and then you have that picture that slowly trickles down line by line and completely loads. So sizing and compression helps us to have high quality images on our website that don't slow down our web load time. The statistic is that most users will leave your website if it takes more than 10 seconds to load. I personally think that the time frame is a little bit shorter than that. I think at about 7 or 8 seconds, people are usually clicking off of websites because they're impatient and it's taking too long. Another good thing to note is that if you're using certain platforms like WordPress or other blog sites, they may give you image size requirements. So these are some good tools to make sure that whatever images you want to upload to your website fall within those requirements. So if you watched the video on the image optimization study material this week, there was that 14-minute video, and that is where I pulled a lot of my information from because he had a lot of great resources for resizing your images for free. So I'm going to go through most of them pretty quickly. The first one is the free image optimizer, which is imageoptimizer.net. There are certain plugins that we can talk about. There's Photoshop, GIMP, which can be found at gimp.org, which is kind of a step down from Photoshop. And then there's Pixlr at pixlr.com. So starting with this free image optimizer, if you go to imageoptimizer.net, it will bring up this first box that says optimize now. And so what you can do is you can choose your file. You can see I've picked this Moon original file. And then you can set what you want your max width or height to be. You can also set the quality that you'd like it to be. So I just went with his example of using a max width of 500. And then I click Optimize Now. And then on the next page, it shows me how my size has changed. So I went from 1,446 kilobytes down to only 76 kilobytes. And I can see that it's the right size that I told it to be with the max width. So it's kept everything proportional. It's kept a lot of the quality, but it's smaller and more optimized for the web. So then you can just click download to your computer, you can save it somewhere, and then upload it onto your site. The other option that he mentioned is using things like plugins. So websites such as WordPress and other blog sites will have these plugins that you can build into your site that will help you optimize your images anytime you need to upload something. Since we don't use WordPress or any sites like that, I didn't spend too much time going over it and researching it, but it pretty much works the same way as the image optimizer did in the last slide, where whenever you upload an image, you can set your widths or your heights or your quality, and it will automatically implement those for every image that you upload into your blog or website. The third way is Photoshop, which is the way that I'm most familiar with and most comfortable with. So what I did here is I just opened up my main image. You can see it's pretty large on my canvas. And then if you go to File and then go down to Save for Web, it will bring up this slide. So what it does is it brings up this on the left hand side, and then on the right hand side it has this table. And what that does is it lets me pick which file type I want to save my picture as. And then down here I can also go through and set my image size that I would like, kind of like we did on the image compressor. So here I set it for 300 pixels to be my width. I can also choose it by percent. If I want it to be half the size or a quarter of the size, you can put that in there. And then here I can see what my image will look like when it's sized down. And then down at the bottom it will show me, okay, I'm saving this as a JPEG and it's down to 4.66 kilobytes. And then below this bar there's a bar that says save, and that will let you also save your optimized image. You can rename it so you know that it's your one that is compressed and ready to use on your website. The next tool is gimp.org, or just GIMP. What it is this is another software that you develop or that you download onto your computer like Photoshop. It's not web-based. my computer actually would not let me download it. It gave me a lot of issues and I tried like 4 or 5 times. But if you're interested in using GIMP and you want to see how it works, that 14-minute video in the image optimization link has a lot of info on how to use it. It's pretty similar to Photoshop where you open your image, you take a look, and then you export it to save it as the file that you want, and you can select your sizes from there. And then the last way I want to go over is Pixlr. So with Pixlr, you can do this online. You can do this online and just what you do is you go to pixlr.com and you open your image, and then all you have to do is click Save up here, and then it will give you this option to rename your file and slide your quality bar. So you can see here I went down to 250 kilobytes. My quality is at 32. And to finish that off, I will just click Save, and it will also save my compressed image wherever I've told it to save on my desktop. So there are a few different ways to compress your images and size them correctly for your website. When you are looking for different ways to optimize and save, it's important to make sure that you're checking the quality and the size so that they will still load quickly on your web page, but that they don't look too grainy. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation. I hope it helped you learn something, and if you have any questions, please let me know.